teachers are just teaching the things what is in front of them. They have a syllabus and they just teach. But educators are much great. They make the children to transcend their boundaries, their capabilities. If a child has this capability, an educator can make the child to transform beyond your capability. So I think all of you here, I heard that you are all educators. That means something great is there. A child has a lot of potential within it. You know, potential is the untapped power, untapped energy. But unless, for example, some 3 days back in my room, the plug was broken. I tried to charge my mobile, it is not charged. There is electricity, but I am unable to charge because I am not tapped into the power. So the power comes from the supernatural creator of God. So how an educator can help the child to tap into the power? Somebody asked a question, which is the most richest place on planet Earth? People said, might be the wealthiest thing could be the diamond mines of South America or the oil fields of South Africa or Saudi Arabia. But the right thing is, it's in our graveyard, the unused energy, the unused ideas, the untapped energy in a person, the unsung songs, unreturned books. Why it has become? Because there is no mentor for them, there is no teacher, there is no parent who can bring the best in that child. So many times we do not understand the potential of a child, and that's why we need educators to bring the potential within everybody. Because God has endowed in unique abilities in everybody. He has made us beautifully and wonderfully in His image and in His likeness. So, but what we do is we sometimes pressurize them in some of the fields which they are not capable. See, for example, if I ask a fish to climb a tree, it cannot climb. If I ask a monkey to swim, it cannot swim. God has given unique capabilities for everybody. So, as an educator, as a parent, as a teacher, we should try to understand the capability. And for example, if I ask a bear, if we just allow a bear and an alligator to fight, which will win? It depends on the terrain. If it is in the water, alligator will win. If it is on the land, bear will win. So each one, God has given unique capabilities. So it's better, we should never compare our child, one child with the another. So those are the things, that the basic things I would like to start, because I want like all the educators, if you can bring out the best. If I ask you, like, can you remember somebody in your school days, in your college days? Maybe you will tell some 1 or 2 teachers, not more than that. How come if every teacher is like that, the child will transcend the boundaries of or a limitation, no limitation, all the things it can transcend. That's what I meant. And to create an environment of learning. Sometimes we create an environment where a child feels scared to question. So we should allow the child to unlock its creativity. You know, God is so creative. Why He made these beautiful mountains, the scenic lakes, and the beautiful colors. He's creative. He's so creative. And that's why He has endowed creativity. It's called intelligibility. God is intelligent and He has put intelligibility in the human beings. That's why we are having science to understand His nature. So each and every child is creative. Unlock the creativity by creating a learning environment. The classroom environment should be learning. How would you create a learning environment? Unless you have a relationship, you cannot create. Create relationship with the student, because it's very, very important. Each student is different. I read about a story of one Mrs. Franklin. She has written that in a class there was a boy who didn't study anything. He'll come with crumble clothes, he'll sit at the back, he'll not write his homework. She started scolding him initially. But one day when they were all bringing Christmas gifts, this boy brought a broken ring and a half perfume bottle. When the others brought beautiful wrap, everybody laughed at his gift. The teacher took this gift and wore it and put the perfume and said, "This is one of the precious gift I have got." So you know, the child came and smelled her and said, "You're smelling like my mom." Then she understood that the child was so brilliant earlier, but then last year it lost its mom. And then slowly the child started smiling. And then next that year end, the child became one of the brilliant students. And then at the end, he went to a very great university. And in his marriage, he asked his teacher, "Can you sit in the place of my mom?" Then she put the same perfume and came. It's what I'm telling you is it's a relationship we create with our students, with our class each. Because many of the children, I went yesterday, you are doing a great job here. I went to many of this ITA and other places where children from the abused families are brought in. You know, child abuse makes the child brain to shrink. The people have undertaken a lot of studies, and the studies in US, there's a departmental study conducted by US Department of Justice. They took 10 deterrents in the childhood. For example, if a parent is alcoholic, or a parent is put in prison, or if the father is hitting the mother, or if the child is abused physically or sexually or whatever it is, every deterrent they have put it. And later when they become adults, what happened? How they rated them. So if the deterrents are more, they ended up with suicidal behavior or drug addicts, or even heart attacks happen because of that. And many children, they say that they end up as juvenile or murderers because of the child abuse it happens. So such children, when they are brought to us, how are we able to help them to heal their wounds? We cannot do it. But with the grace of God and the power of Holy Spirit, each one of us are hands and hearts of Jesus. So if we can carry the vision of Jesus, He loves every child. Bible says, greatest offense is given. Jesus says about that a millstone will be hung if a child is offended. That much Jesus loves children. So if we say that we love Jesus, we should show more love. And compared to a Christian teacher, the other teachers, we will never have any partiality. Be based on caste, based on races, based on religion, based on nationality. So that gives, because we know that each and every child is made in the image of God. So that's more important. So as Christian educators, I believe that you are all someone great who can bring a child into its excellence. So compared to a mediocre child, it's a teacher who can bring them into excellence. Next slide. So another story I just wanted to tell you. A Sunday school teacher took a rupee note and she asked every child, "What do you do with this?" So some 10 rupee note, they said chocolates, ice creams, or whatever they wanted. Then she crumpled nicely, put it down, and then again took it up and asked, "What do you do with this?" They again said, "Then has it lost its value because it's crumbled?" They said, "No." The same way, whatever problems, whatever families you have come from, you have the same significance. So your teacher will never differentiate a wealthy person child or a lowly person child, because everybody has the same image of God. That brings the more potential out. And you know, Thomas Alva Edison, that's a beautiful story. I think most of you would be knowing that. He made light bulb, right? He discovered that 10,000 times he perfected it, they say. Because he told that, they asked that you have failed 9,999 times. He said, no, I found 9,999 times different ways to make the bulb. That means failures are not failures. Failures, you should teach the children to treat failures like a scientist does experiment. They are all data points, negative, positive. But all the failures points towards something. Failures are at the far end of failure is a success. So nowadays I go to IITs, IISs, last time Christmas message I gave it like, oh, many children die of suicide because in the house they pressurize them. They just micromanage every situation. And they just feed properly once they enter into somewhere else where the parents are not there. Nobody is there to micromanage them. Nobody is there to support them. Either they don't take care of them, or they don't take care so much and just do a lot of protection to them. They are not exposed to the atmosphere. That time the teachers alone can help. So maybe if a child is in your class, they are in your hands. God has given them in your hands. And Helen Keller, this Thomas Alva Edison, the story I forgot. This Thomas Alva Edison, when he was very young, his teacher sent a cover to his mother. So his mother opened the cover and Thomas Alva Edison asked, "What is in it, Mom?" She started crying and he asked, "For what?" "It seems you are the greatest genius and they could not educate you. That's why they told me you better educate him. So I'm going to educate you." She homeschooled him till her death. But one day after her death, Thomas Alva Edison got the papers crumbled in a corner and he took it and he was reading. What it is written, "Your child is mentally deficient. He is expelled from the school." That's all. She didn't read that, but she read a different way. And that's what, so he wrote in his diary, Thomas Alva Edison, a deficient child, became a world genius by his mom. So why I say is because there is a genius in every child. It is the parent or the teacher who can bring out by not comparing. You can criticize the child, but before criticizing, it's called a sandwich approach. Make one praise. Every child has something to appreciate, and put one praise down. In between, give your criticism. So it's called a sandwich approach. Do a praise and then a criticize and then put a praise so that a child will know for what it will take the message with the grace. So that's one of the technique. And then sometimes we, instead of hitting and shouting, more than blowing a trumpet, it's a beautiful music that speaks to one's soul. How tender we are handling them, how humble we are handling them. It's so important, and to try to understand each child's psychology. And Jesus was interested in the way how he handled. Even Helen Keller, one more example. She lost her speech and hearing at a tender age of 19 months to a fever. And there was a lady called Annie Sullivan. She was a 20-year-old graduate. She was brought and asked to homeschool and teach Helen Keller. And somebody wrote, Mark Twain wrote, Annie Sullivan was the miracle worker of Helen Keller. She taught Helen Keller how to read and write using Braille, and Helen Keller did great things. It is the teacher. Everything is about the teacher who is the mentor. And you might be learning about the importance of mentorship from and many of the other people. But each and every child needs a mentor. That's very important. And Jesus did that. He was interested in his followers more than what they are doing, in what they are becoming. Becoming is the character. Because sometimes they can read, study, everything, but if the character goes, everything goes. Because more than aptitude, it's our attitude that matters. Attitude, it's not your aptitude, but your attitude that determines your altitude, they say. That's why it's very, very important attitude. How you can, because we can be role models, we can be examples to our children. And Samaritan, many of the children nowadays have low self-esteem. Like Cinderella, she did not know her worth till she found the fairy mother. Samaritan woman is one such Cinderella of the Bible story. She was not knowing her worth. That's why she went after 5 men, and finally one day there was a man who was sitting at the well. He looked at her eyes as nobody else looked. He found her worth as nobody else found. And he never taught theology to great people like Pharisees or anybody, but he taught theology to a lost woman. And he made her the first evangelist. That is the power of Jesus. So that's the way he asks us to do it. And that's why Bible clearly says in Isaiah 61:3, to give beauty for the ashes, joy when they mourn. Bible is all the time about replacing, about transforming any individual. And that's why we make them to rise up like eagles. Eagles go beyond 10,000 feet high. It is possible. And one more thing, we need to teach them that it's not about anything outside. A professor called their students to his home for send-off party. He kept so many cups there. And he asked the students to go and take the cups and take the coffee. Everybody was searching for beautiful cups. And then they took the coffee and came and sat. He said that, does the coffee taste the same? They said yes. But all of you are after beautiful cups. So life is like that. for cars and positions and powers and homes. Everything are like tiny toys or false seductions. That doesn't count. Everything counts is who you are in front of God. That's count at the last day. I think we should inculcate our children that it is not about what they have, but what they are as a person. We are called to be kings and priests and priestesses and prophets in His kingdom. It's all about sainthood of every believer, because the kingdom culture has to be brought to this world, to the schools, to our environment. So now a teacher starts position that see now students respect you. There are 4 levels in a teacher's life. The first starts as a position. You are employed as a teacher for the student. So students respect you because of your position. And then you give them permission because you love them so much. You do something for them. You give them permission to follow you, to emulate you. And that is the permission level. And then you go to production. You do something in their life that transforms, that gives them, that makes them to get good marks, that makes them to get good character. So they emulate you. And finally you go to the pinnacle level. It's not about who you are. That is a transformational leadership. That is about educators. Every educator should become a transformational leader, allowing the students to look to them at the pinnacle level. Next. So these are the 2. Okay, now comes why I am telling all this story. Let me come back to my story. When I was young, I had very low self-esteem because my father and mother did everything for me. We are 7 of us, and I am the first, and I was treated as the queen of the house, and they all did everything for me. So I never knew anything, how to cook or anything. And even if I go and run into my bus, I leave my tiffin box, my sister will run and come and hand over. The bus driver will stop and take it in. So it is that way I was brought up, and my father in my college will drop me every time, protection. So I did not know anything about the world outside, and I felt that I cannot do anything on my own. I need people to do everything for me. And so that's what, when I came up, when you don't lay boundaries around you, we should teach our children boundaries. What is good for them, what is wrong for them, how much they can allow others to tread over them, how much, because you should, when you know the others are made in the image of God, you will not violate their boundaries, you will not allow others to violate your boundaries. So that comes because Jesus said, love others as you love yourself. Sometimes we allow others to tread our boundaries because we do not love ourselves. We do not know the work God has placed inside us. So I was not having a great self-image. I never knew I will become a scientist. When someone in my teacher asked, I said I will become a housewife. And then I got into engineering. My father said take up honors. I never knew I'd get honors, 4 subjects extra everywhere, 75%. But finally I got it. So it was God's grace that brought me up, and then finally, because of all these problems, I entered into depression because I faced problems at my house level, and in my office people were telling that women might come mugged up and studied and come. So I thought I tried to do masters and PhD in one of the premier institutions in India, Indian Institute of Science, in electronics and communication, because that's my field. I tried 2 times, I did not get it. I think God, see, sometimes every failure points to something great. You know, because afterwards, the 3rd time I went for an interview in the aerospace field, which was totally different. So I got through. And now I could write a book based on that because of my experience in electronics, communication, aerospace, cosmology, and satellites and rockets and others. It was too difficult at that age to sit and study. After 15 years of engineering, I did it. So I had my project manager post, and then in the house my children teaching, cooking, I used to go and write their homeworks, they don't write, so everything put me into a pressure. So finally I was praying for a prayer request. I was a Catholic, I had read a few chapters of the Bible, that's all. And then I was thinking that God should answer me if I am good. So I used to think in my own level I am good, but Bible clearly says no, not even one person is righteous. I did not know that. So that's why I was finally so angry on God. At one point I had my fist against him. I said this God cannot be powerful Even if he's powerful, he might not be loving. So that's what I decided. And then I tried to walk towards railway crossings to take my life, because till 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. I cannot sleep. So 2 a.m. So that way, I was a living vegetable. I felt that I'm going mad. So those days I was trying to do my PhD. I had a very high fever. I did not bother. My brother, who is a cardiologist in Chennai, he called me and he said, go and do the ESR check. When I checked, they at once put me in hospital. My one lung had gone. They gave me antibiotics. The other lung also had gone. Then they thought I'm going to die. My brother came and told them at once put her in ventilator. When they put me in ventilator in that ICU, I was thinking that I was not interested to live. But the God whom I thought has left me, whom I thought has forgotten me, came into that ICU ward. He revealed every mistake I have done like a movie. In front of me everything came. I saw the vision of cross. I saw the blood of Jesus coming and covering it. I heard a crystal clear voice, I am giving you new life. And all the 5 days I was there, I felt someone embracing me. And I came out. There was a Bible, written English Bible, and my mom has given a Tamil Bible, but I've never read it. Except 93, Psalm 93 and Psalm 23 and Psalm 91. And now I started to read early morning, 4 o'clock. There is a song, beautiful song. I come to the garden alone. He walks with me, he talks with me, and he tells me that I am his own. What a beautiful song. I used to sing early morning and walk with him and dance with him and enjoy his presence reading the Bible. And you know that Bible transformed me in 6 months. That's what I wanted to say, that because many of us read the Bible for information, to preach, to teach. But Bible is meant more than just for information. It is meant for relationship with the author. And also we don't listen to the voice that is beneath the words. The voice that spoke the creation into account. The voice that shaped the shapeless. The voice that formed the formless. The voice that made the empty to bring forth everything. The voice still speaks with majesty and power from the word. That's why we can hear his voice through the word. And you know, and the third, that's the shift we do from word to voice. And another one is we do sporadic reading. But Bible is a beautiful grand story of God, starting with Genesis 1 to consummation of his kingdom, Genesis 3 abdication of his kingdom, and they all about restoration, Revelation 21 and 22 consummation, God coming back and restoring the whole creation. And in that we are part of the vision. Paul is positioned that time, Peter is positioned that time, you and me are positioned right now here. So that's what the story, when it doesn't make sense, we don't take it so seriously. I started taking it seriously. That's when God transformed me. March 2004, when it happened, I looked much older, much angrier, much weaker. God transformed me in every way. He gave me sleep. I couldn't sleep. He removed me from every fear of death. He is the resurrection and life. And he has made beautiful mansions. It's just a movement from one tent to a beautiful mansion. So you don't have any fear of anything. That's what. And the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. So everything he transformed, because he is a God who can transform everyone. And he says that I have chosen you in the fire of affliction. That's what many of you might have been chosen. So when I came out, of that one, then God made me to do Master of Divinity in Southern Asia Bible College, MA Christian Studies, and then apologetics training. And then these are the things why I did. I will tell you, that time I wanted to work for the Lord. So I wanted to preach. So I don't know whom to ask. I wanted to preach, but how to preach? No one knows me. I'm a woman, and some people say it's impossible. And I wanted to preach. I felt God is calling me. I used to stand on my balcony and preach outside in front of the mirror and preach. But then finally I thought, okay, let me study all these things. I became studying. Finally I became a human doing. I even stopped praying at some point because I have to write assignments for Master of Divinity. I was doing my PhD in aerospace again because 5 years I couldn't complete. When I became Jesus follower, I put a chair next to me. I asked Jesus, can you be my guide? You know, at that time, that was in 2007, 2004 it happened, 2007 I could get my PhD. After my PhD only I started Master of Divinity everything. But that time till 2012-13, I was just a human doing, because I had to write lot of assignments for SABC, and I lost prayer life. And sometimes we don't think we are human beings. We think we are doing ministry, and finally we leave God out of the equation. And that's when I fell into severe depression. God, you called me for something, and now here I'm waste, I'm useless, I'm not doing anything. And finally, one fine morning, He said two things. Don't look to man for any of your needs. Look to me. And then He said, it's not your ministry, it's my ministry. How I do, what I do, it's me. How will I think? I understood. I was thinking that I am supposed to do something, but He wanted me to enjoy Him. And that's the reason God made us, to enjoy Him forever. His presence, He's so sweet, His communion is so sweet. Early morning, try to get up and spend time and ask Him to speak. He's such a sweet Savior. He speaks to us. He's so beautiful in every way. That's what He taught. It's about rest. Peter could see when his hands were bound by two soldiers, and next day he could have been, his head could have been removed like that of James, but Peter slept. He knew Heavenly Father. That's when God made. So that's what God taught me, how to rest. Rest is not one time affair, it's a lifelong journey. And then that's when I wrote my first book, When the Flame Flickers. It was God who told me to write. It was so difficult for me, the first book, because I used to write the stories of people who were abused, and I used to feel a lot of pain. I used to throw the book and I say, God, I cannot do it. But I feel again and again God telling me to write. And I had a little swimming pool, ladies swimming pool down in my apartment. So once I went there, I was sitting, my tears and water, no difference. God, I cannot do it. I don't know anybody, I can't market it, I cannot publish it. How will I do it? So God said, your job is to write, my job is to take care of the remaining. And science came forward and they published my book later. So that's when this book came on. And then someone was telling me, your life on the experience on the ventilator can be a near-death experience. Who knows? There is a real God. Maybe it's a near-death experience. So then I wanted to know, I have been a scientist for so many years, why don't I try to find out, is that scientifically this God is possible? Or is He a God who will come and science? People say in the US, there are churches called scientists of churches, that they say that science is God. And through science you can find everything. Can science tell why beauty is there, why love is there? Nothing, but they believe that. So that's when I started last 4 years. I did intense research, taking all the, not about the Christian journals, about scientific journals, latest journals like Scientific American, Nature, and all the biology journals. Because I'm not a biologist, but I took, my son is a medical doctor, I took his books and started reading genetics and others to know how the first life started, how the complexities of life evolved. Has man come from apes, as the evolutionary theory says, how the universe started. And that's when I understood that there are a lot of scientific gaps which science can never close. How something can come out of nothing, how life can come out of non-life, how reason can come out of non-reason, how morality can come out of non-morality. There are so many gaps. That's when I wrote this book, and I brought in a new model for Genesis 1. And that's when US one institute called Discovery Institute was telling that they are fighting for intelligent design. They are all scientists from Harvard and other places. They say that Darwinian evolution is false. So they reviewed my book, a microbiologist and physicist, and they recommended my book. And then I got it published in US and India, another myself have published. So these are all, it's impossible with my capability. As I cannot believe that I have done it. That's when I think, and my children are good Christians, and that's again by God's grace. So what I wanted to say is, if a person is feeling that low self-esteem, they cannot come out on their own. But for me, God became my mentor. Maybe God has asked you to be the mentor. Next, some few more slides, just 5 minutes I can finish it. Is it okay? 5 more minutes? So now as you are teaching the children, there are 4 main questions. This is not about the subject. I think we should allow our children to be taught a little more than what they are up to. We should tell them These are the 4 questions that can make them to think. Where from I have come, my origin. What is the meaning of my life purpose? And how do I differentiate? Now for people, what is true for you is true for you, what's true for me is true for me. Is there an absolute truth? And then where do I go after I die? Whether your worldview is able to answer these questions. Through them, they can understand the problems, the lacunas in their worldviews, and they can come to know the true God. Next. And also I wanted to show you, when you are teaching science, some of the science teachers can be there. I feel that when you are teaching about the solar system, environment, you introduce the power that there is a God using that particular thing. For example, I'll just give you an example. First, this is the solar system. You can give the science of the solar system, and there are 8 planets earlier, now 1 more planet is not there. So science has limitations. After some time, because of lack of time and moving fast, after some time the science can change. Pluto is no more a planet. So now if you see, this is the solar system. Earth to Sun is 1 astronomical unit. Earth to Pluto is 40. You just think of the distance. And it takes light from the Sun 8 minutes to reach us, with the speed of light 186,000 miles per second. Now this is the size of the Earth and our Sun. So when you are teaching with some examples, models, they will understand more. It will never go out of their mind. Instead of just teaching, some people just students get bored. But so you make some models, you make some PowerPoints, you make some examples, stories, and teach them. That's what I wanted to say. Next. And you can, when you if you are teaching about galaxies, tell them about the power of God. Because, to reach from one end of the Milky Way, our Sun is in one position in the Milky Way. Because there are 4 arms, if it is not in that inner side of the minor arm called Orion, it will be black holes and huge stars will pull us inside. This side there will be no elements. So who is it who plays our Sun in the right place in the Milky Way? What is the strategy behind it? And next, this full Milky Way is inside a supercluster, a cluster called local cluster. Next. This is light from Andromeda. Nearest galaxy takes 8 million years. That means if you travel at the speed of light, it takes 8 million years if you are alive to go there. Next. So now we are inside a next Laniakea supercluster. So that supercluster also light from a nearby. It takes 65 million years to reach us. That means we need 65 million years to go to the next supercluster. If we travel at the speed of light, and then comes the whole universe, which is 93 billion light years. Now think, the God who made this, He should be so powerful. And there are no coincidences in anybody's life. Maybe you're here and here. There is no coincidence, because God plays the right position in the earth, our earth. Jupiter is little away. Any meteor hitting will surely hit us and we will not be here. Jupiter is the right size, right position. And our earth is surrounded by so many spheres. Sun is surrounded by heliosphere for cosmic rays not to come. We have ozone layer, we have troposphere, we have mesosphere for stopping us from meteor, greenhouse effect. So many things God placed. Even atheist scientists like Stephen Hawking says, why the universe is expanding at such a critical rate, even now, so many billion years later. It's expanding safe. If it is smaller by 1 part and 1 quintillion, whole universe will crumble. And Anthony Flew looked at the DNA, and before that he wanted to write a book, There is No God. He striked out no God and he put There is a God. DNA, when you look at it, so this is the whole universe. So before that, solar eclipse. Have you seen the beautiful solar eclipse? Why you are able to get solar eclipse? Moon is 400 times smaller in diameter than Sun, and Moon is 400 times away from the Sun than Earth. From the Earth, Moon is 400 times closer than the Sun. Who made it so exact values? Can you imagine? So all these things, for me, it pointed, it's not as, if I can tell, it takes almost full day to tell. some 35 parameters, proton to neutron ratio, force of gravity, weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force, so many things are exactly hanging on the brink of the knife edge. Who has fixed it? As though somebody has fixed it, behind it looks. So even an atheist scientist that cannot understand, that's why Bible says, a fool only can say there is no God. So I think we can teach our children many of these things. What are the problems? See, the greatest thing in the universe is 10 power 27. The smallest thing, the quad, is 10 power minus 15. That is the ratio. Can you imagine? God, what a God we have, what a God we serve. Next. So, okay, I can finish this. So, Darwinian evolution has a lot of gaps. You can read my book, or I can send the PowerPoint presentations or something. But when you are teaching the children the evolutionary theory, because it's part of your syllabus, also teach the gaps. Can life come on its own? What are the theories which are telling, and what is the falsehood in that? And how, what are the falsehoods from one life form to the another? It can take billions and billions of years to transform from one life form to another. It's impossible. Even the atheist scientists are telling you it's impossible. So all these things, when we are teaching them, they will know the truth. So Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. I hope with it, because it's going, I wanted to end my speech with this, and I want you to be example for the students to show them the truth of the gospel. Thank you.